Hello and welcome to Top Fives, the show of everything Top Fives, presented by the Sex Effects. I'm Joey Parati.
And I'm Sean Day.
And folks, we have a very, very special episode tonight. Last minute, our good friend Danny Rodriguez was able to jump on and join us for an episode about Noirvember. And it being November 17th, I think we're going to talk a little Martin Scorsese as well. Before we get to all that, Jonathan, how are you? And Danny, welcome to the show.
I know, welcome, dude.
Thank you. Good to
I
be
can't
here
remember
with you
what
guys.
was our last episode that we had with you. I'm trying to remember.
I was in Vancouver, and I think we were talking about Pixar films.
Oh,
Yeah, we did a Spider-Verse kind of rehash.
That's right. Yeah.
It had just come out. I'm trying to find Twitter changed the thing. I just tweeted out that episode as like a refresher course for people if they wanted to listen to tonight. And that is episode 117, Animated Films and Spider-Man Artists.
Nice.
So,
nice.
check it out.
Yeah, man. I'm so happy you're on here. 'Cause
Yeah, it's great to see you guys.
I know, it's like I haven't seen you and talked to you in a minute, dude. So I
Yeah.
hope you're doing well. And we're excited to bring you on the show again. And it's a new form for for our podcast. So we're trying to get more guests on, and you always have interesting things to share and kind of talk about. So yeah, man, really excited to have you on. As far as me this week, nothing much going on, just work and social isolating, or social distancing as much as I can. But yeah,
Very good.
that's pretty
Aren't
much
we
it.
all?
Yeah. How you
Hell
doing,
yeah.
Danny? How's things with you?
Doing well. Things are very good. Started a new job yesterday.
Yeah,
Ooh.
tell us about it.
What's this
Exciting.
job?
My dream job of Pixar started yesterday from home.
Dude.
Yes.
So
Yes, that is huge.
very excited, eager to dive right in. Yeah, and also social distancing, wearing masks and all that.
And Zoom
Wonderful.
meetings and all that stuff.
Yeah, living in this crazy world.
It's gotten, I didn't think it could get any crazier, but as 2020 draws to a close, it keeps surprising us, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I feel it does, man.
expect the unexpected.
Yeah. Yeah, we got
This is how I cope. No.
But
No,
dude,
not really.
that's super exciting. We were talking a little off air about kind of your experience, as it must be interesting starting a job, especially during this whole 2020 COVID time, and so how's that been, kind of adjusting to that? And is there anything you can share with us, or maybe our audience, that you're possibly working on, or what's the process been as far as working at Pixar?
Well, it's only day 2, and I can't speak too much to what I'll be working on. I don't even really know yet. Still have yet to dive into that stuff. Just training. And as far as working from home, I've been doing it since March when I was at my previous job. So I guess, but it's just funny. I've said it before. I've dreamt about my first day of Pixar for years, and I never imagined it this way. But it's still awesome, still exciting. It's just, I get to do it in my apartment, which is kind of nice. I get to do it in my underwear if I want. So,
Hey, does that help you animate if you do it that way?
yeah, the more comfortable, the better.
There we go.
Yeah.
I feel free.
Yeah, great going, dude. Comfortability right there.
Exactly.
Love that.
Dude, that's
Hell yeah.
awesome.
Well, congratulations. I'm so for the listeners or watchers or what have you that don't know, so Shawnee and I have been friends since 4 or 5 years old, kindergarten. But we met Danny. You and me were in the same orientation group for high school. I was like, this kid is wearing Chuck Taylor, so he must listen to rock and roll and be pretty cool. And it turned out both of those things were true. And we were both like really into comics. the J. Michael Straczynski run on Amazing Spider-Man. We were both reading, and Ezekiel
Oh,
and all
right.
that bullshit. And but through it all is you've always, as long as I've known you, you've wanted to be an animator, whether it be for Disney or Pixar or whatever. And you have done it, my friend. And I'm so incredibly proud and in awe of you at the moment. And just so stoked for you, so incredibly stoked for you. You've earned it. And you do really great work. Again, for those of you who didn't listen or whatever, episode 118, I believe, you worked on Into the Spider-Verse, which is one of the most innovative, groundbreaking animated films in what, 10, 15, 20 years. Like it's incredible. You should feel very good about yourself at the moment. I mean,
Yeah, of
without letting it go to your head, of course,
course.
because then we start making mistakes. But
Yeah. I'm gonna start having bong parties on my yacht.
honestly, enjoy the subway ride home in your cheap suit and your ugly wife. Like,
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not actually calling anyone's wife ugly.
I understood that reference.
You.
Yeah. That was a fun movie. I was super lucky, right place, right time on that one to get to touch that one. It was a super cool movie to be on.
Dude,
Hell
that's
yeah.
awesome. I'm excited for there's the new Spider-Man game that's coming out, and
I know.
they have like the Miles Morales version of the Into the Spider-Verse costume, which I'm so stoked, and you can play it in the frame rate too. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
so
They really
cool.
nailed the animation style in the game. It's really cool. They really captured it.
Looks awesome, and I was like, oh, it's like reminded me of the movie, and you're working on it, so I was just like, oh, dude, it's just so cool. Like that movie definitely obviously brought a new light to Spider-Man as a character in the movies and film, and yeah, it was very innovative, man. Like very interesting how like the animation, it had so many different kind of working parts as far as like the frame rate thing to kind of make it look like. I watched this breakdown video the other day. Like these guys, they do like special visual effects breakdowns, and they did one on Into the Spider-Verse, and they were talking about the scene where Spider-Man is swinging in the forest with
Yes.
Miles, and you can slowly, as he's starting to get the swing of things, no pun intended, the frame rate of Miles becomes a lot more smooth, and there's like these very subtle things in there, and just like those little subtleties in the film, I kind of tip my hat off to all the animators for putting that together, and it seems like it's getting recognized even from other people who do animation and other special effects. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but that's super cool, bro. I'm so excited for you with Pixar and like all the stuff that comes with that, and I'm sure a lot of exciting projects coming your way, which is really cool, man.
Yeah. Thanks again, guys. Can't wait. Can't wait to see what's in store.
Hey.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. So usually we talk about some news in the film world, but this is COVID. There's not really much that. Oh, we haven't, Danny. We have not talked about the Batman.
Yeah. No, we haven't.
Let's talk about the Batman for a second.
Let's dish.
Yeah, honestly.
I think it looks great. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I mean, Batman's been done to death, but I know you love the character more than anybody that I know.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, anytime somebody can, I haven't loved what's been done in the Snyderverse, with Batman or with any of that world, but I like what I'm seeing with this one. That the trailer really did it for me.
Oh yeah.
It's a very good trailer. I don't know if you saw, there's some set pictures floating around, and Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz. They kind of look like they're on heroin. They kind of look like junkies.
I'm not a fan
And
of. Sorry, I'm not a big
yeah,
fan of the hairstyle that they chose for Bruce Wayne.
yeah, yeah.
I was hoping a
What is
more
that?
sleeker,
Slick
dapper,
back, yeah.
more classic sort of look. But
He kind of looks like Toby Maguire in Spider-Man 3 when he goes all emo.
yeah, it's a little angsty,
A little
and
It is.
antsy.
with the dark eyes, which I think is cool. It's practical,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
but with the hair, it just gives them sort of like the Crow kind of feel.
That's a good call. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I'm excited to see Colin Farrell as the Penguin, though.
Oh, he looks great.
He looks, yeah. Like,
That
what?
makeup
Looks really
job is
good.
insane.
I didn't
Why
even
didn't you
notice
just hire
from the
Richard
trailer.
Kind? But okay.
Yeah,
When-
yeah. Supposedly the cast and crew didn't even recognize him on set.
That's
Dude,
pretty cool.
we were talking about the the trailer a few weeks ago, and yeah, Joey had to point it out to me that it was him because I
Yeah.
did not know. It totally. But I think that's what I'm excited about is to see. We're not going to be staring at just him like as the actor.
Yeah, I didn't
and
want a
his-
handsome penguin.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of fan art and stuff like that. People trying to see what it could look like, but I'm really
Yeah.
excited to this different version of that. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I did like the trailer though. It was a really fun trailer. And are they shooting? Are they currently shooting right now? Are they back on?
Yeah, they're
Sketch?
shooting at the moment.
Gotcha. Okay.
They're still shooting. They had to shut down because Pattinson got COVID. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny. Batman got fucking COVID.
He's fine now, I think.
Yeah, it was a minor case. But yeah, let me ask you this because we grew up on the comics. We have these really nerdy, nitpicky opinions on things. Pattinson's body size. There's a lot has been made about he's kind of a lithe. He cuts a lithe figure. Do you have a problem with this? How do you do you think he should be bulkier? Like what's your take?
Yeah, I like a bulkier Batman.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, it looks fine. The suit looks cool. The suit has all the fake muscles on it anyway.
I hate those fake muscles.
Yeah, but it looks like armor. So it's not like the Schumacher verse with the nipples and everything.
All that rubber.
And and you know what? From Batfleck, who was too big,
way too big.
it looked ridiculous. So
Yeah.
it's kind of going from that to a trimmer Batman is actually kind of nice.
It reminds me a lot of the Neil Adams Batman,
Yeah, and
which
the
I'm
cowl,
fine with.
Yeah, the cowl actually has vibes of like Adam West Batman,
Yes, yeah.
Hey.
like a more modern take on that sort of Adam West cowl. The shape of it,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
It looks you can see the stitching.
Yes,
Yeah. There's a lot of cool little details on the cowl itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think I
I'm
dig
here
it.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Right on. Well, shit. It's really very good. Oh hell yeah. What else? I can't think of anything. You guys got anything?
Happy birthday to our beloved Marty Scorsese. Did we say that already?
We have not yet. Happy birthday, Martin Scorsese. And as you gents know, and maybe some of our dear, sweet, lovely, imaginary audience knows, so my dog found him on the street and named him Martin Scorsese. And because I've bestowed that name upon him, I've also bestowed that birthday upon him. So, come here, bud. Yeah.
Aw.
We're wishing this guy happy birthday.
Aw.
Happy birthday, Marty. Say hi. He hates the camera. He's like a
He's
Native
like-
American. He believes that when it captures a part of your soul. That's really that didn't mean to be raised. It's like a movie trope. I don't really know that about if that's how Native Americans feel about cameras and things. Here's Marty. Happy
Hey,
birthday.
Marty.
All right, bud. There you go. There you go. Good boy.
He's precious. He's precious,
It's
Joey.
very precious.
You know? Yes.
We should be very proud.
I'm super proud. No, it's it's me and him. This is more his place than it is mine. You know?
Yeah.
But
Same with
he's
my
my
dog.
boy.
She owns the place.
He owns you, and that's okay.
It's okay. She owns in here.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
this is audio only. I'm pointing at my heart.
I thought you were tweaking your nipple, but that's just me.
Sean, you are much wiser that you are a cat man.
I know.
They're much
Low
cleaner.
maintenance.
These
Yeah.
guys are cool. Yeah. I've realized with cats, it's just like you just gotta take care of them when they're young, and they'll kind of return the favor.
Yeah, they take care of themselves later.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I just
got
picture you in a nursing home and your cat like wheeling you around and like tucking you in, and warming up your milk.
it's I mean, honestly, during the whole pandemic stuff, the pets have been like really really nice to have. Honestly, like
Oh yeah.
keep me company a little bit. I got the one cat, the gold cat, who sits in my lap every now and then. Got Biko, who chills up here every now and then.
Biko.
And then, as long as I feed him and give him a little attention,
Because sometimes when I don't feed them,
When I don't feed him, I get the paw in the face when I'm sleeping, or
real ice
meowing.
queen.
Yeah, meowing while I'm recording stuff. But it's cool. Can't
Can't have it.
have it.
how it goes, you know.
But yeah. So we
This
got-
dude
we got
is
a little-
nesting right now.
I know.
It's making his bed.
Is that his
There you
spot, dude, or?
Everywhere is his spot.
Everywhere's his
This
spot.
is this is my whole place. So
I own this.
yeah.
I own
I rent.
this. From Joe.
But but yeah, so it's we can, you guys want to talk about some Martin Scorsese movies?
Heck yeah, dude.
You know,
Always.
before we get to Noir Vember.
What?
So Scorsese is kind of, so I don't know about for you guys. This is where Scorsese looms for me. I would say Army of Darkness was maybe one of the first movies where I felt like the filmmaking had called attention to itself, and I noticed it. And so the first directors that I really kind of knew about and kind of turned me on to making movies were Sam Raimi and Kevin Smith a little bit later on after that. And then once I discovered Scorsese right at the end of high school, thanks to my brother, who for my 18th birthday got me a copy of The Departed. I hadn't seen it in theaters. He got it for me on DVD. It came with a little thing of the script. So it had the whole script with it, but, DVD cover size. So I, was introduced to Scorsese and what screenwriting format actually looked like all at the same time. But that was where I was like, oh my God, this guy is calling attention to the filmmaking, but he's actually like a master at it. Like, you know what I mean? Like Raimi's having fun. Kevin Smith is a little inept, but here was Scorsese, like, just like, Goodfellas was just like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And then you go deeper and he's, Italian. He's got the guilt thing going on. Just so many things that I like related to and loved. And I don't know. So that's where Scorsese is for me. All of his movies have spoken to me a little bit one way or the other. But yeah, I love almost all of his movies, and I so much so that I named my dog after him. Where does he kind of loom in your guys' minds of like directors and movies and things like that?
Ooh. I mean, I feel like I know we kind of grew up together, and I feel like some of my movie music tastes, we've kind of bounced off each other as far as that. So I feel like I got a lot of exposure from Scorsese from you, Joey. I remember watching.
You're very welcome.
You're very welcome. I don't know. I think I'm trying to remember like the first Scorsese movie. I feel like I watched Goodfellas with my dad.
Nice.
That was probably like one of my first exposures to Scorsese, and then kind of trickling down all the different movies. Gangs of New York was pretty crazy. I'm trying to remember, and I think you've said this before, Joey. Like he has he doesn't really make, he makes like character studies. Like he spends so much time focusing on the life of a particular character or even a set of characters, and it's just intriguing. You're kind of almost there just to witness like their day, or like Goodfellas. I always love that scene where he's running around in the car and he's like doing errands, and he's kind of paranoid with the drugs, and he thinks there's a helicopter chasing him, and just like within those like I don't know how long that scene is, but like within that period you're along for the ride. You almost feel that that kind of tension and just kind of paranoia.
Big time, yeah.
Yeah, so I love how he's able to obviously take those characters and really put them to the forefront and really kind of dive deeper into the skin of the characters. And but I think some of my favorites, Goodfellas for sure, Departed. I mean, that like kind of I don't know if it's Act 3, but like the thing that happens in Act 3 just like always gets me, even though I've seen the movie like a gajillion times. Man,
with DiCaprio, in the elevator.
Yeah, in the elevator. What else, dude? I mean, Casino. I've seen Casino.
Casino's so good.
That was another one I think I watched. You recommended me and I watched it. But man, he's just got such a stacked filmography, and again, his films are just so very visually, the way it's shot and the cinematography too, and he has a very particular way of shooting things and directing things. So I think that's a very good thing especially for a director of that kind, to really have their kind of signature look, but not also, every film is different in its own right, and still has the imprint of Scorsese on there. So, but for sure, number one, Goodfellas for me personally. But yeah,
right,
love Scorsese, dude. Always.
Hell yeah. Danny, how about you, man?
Yeah, a little bit similar. Yeah, I think I credit you with turning me on to Scorsese too.
Oh, wow.
And all those filmmakers you mentioned, Kevin Smith and Raimi, you've turned me on to quite a few. Yeah, Scorsese.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which I think is pretty great. But yeah, to a lot of what Sean said, I can't remember my first Scorsese movie, maybe Taxi Driver.
Ooh, Taxi Driver. Dude.
Whoa, now that's an introduction.
Yeah, which is different from his other films, but I think I like.
Love it, dude.
Yeah, he's one of the greats. One of the greats for
He
me.
is.
Yeah.
Everything feels authentic. Everything, like, you believe all the actors. Like, I don't think I can think of a filmmaker who has a more consistent track record with actors, and just getting just phenomenal performances every time out.
Yeah, and sometimes from actors that you wouldn't expect, like
Sharon Stone.
Sharon Stone, Uh, Jonah Hill, he got
Yep.
great stuff out of him. He got Ray Romano in The Irishman,
Truth.
and
Yeah.
he got a great performance out of him. So actors, he gets the best out of actors that you wouldn't even expect to deliver performances like that.
You got Action Bronson in The Irishman.
That's right.
Man, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great call. Yeah. What? Okay, we'll do a quick top 5 Scorsese films.
Ooh. So
Danny, because you're a guest, I'm just gonna give you the option to lead off. You don't have to.
I got two. Top 5.
Yeah.
Goodfellas is number 1 for sure. So maybe we'll work down from 1. Goodfellas.
Hell yeah.
Departed. And shoot, number 5. There's too many. I know that after I say number 5, I'm going to be mad at myself because I missed so many others. Casino.
Casino's such a good movie. Yeah.
Well, Casino action.
That's a good list. That's a good list. That's a solid list. You can't go wrong. Like, that's the thing. Like, unless you put like Shutter Island or something on there, I'd be like, what?
Which I don't hate, but it's definitely not among my favorites.
I think it's like his worst paced film, actually.
Yeah, and horror is not his thing.
No, I mean, it's one of his most beautiful looking movies.
Yeah.
It's shot so gorgeously.
Yeah, he got Bob Richardson to shoot that, which
mhm.
he's one of my favorite DPs, and he's like not Scorsese, he's
Tarantino's guy. Yeah,
DP.
His cocaine wizard.
Yeah, I think he's shot every film with him since like I think the Kill Bills was their first time.
Right.
And he's shot every movie with him since.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Because
That's cool.
it has a very similar look to like Inglourious Bastards, and they came out within about a year of each other.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite DPs. I just like the way his films look. He gets a lot of flack for blowing everything out with top light. If you watch him, you might notice it now, but there is a lot of that, which I don't know why he does that, but it's like
I have an artistic reason to
right.
do Jonathan, do you have a top 5 Scorsese?
Let's see. Goodfellas for sure for 1, I think for me. 2, The Departed. I'm going up the list, sorry. 2, Departed. 3, Wolf of Wall Street. 4, man, there's so many good ones. I do enjoy Gangs of New York quite a bit. So
Really?
4, and then
Cameron Diaz.
5.
Cameron Diaz.
Diaz. 5. I'm gonna go The Irishman. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Irishman. And I kind of want to I'm due for a rewatch on that movie.
You better carve out the rest of your day for that.
Yeah, that too. So I'm gonna spend my holiday, Thanksgiving holiday,
Yeah.
trying to figure that out.
My Criterion copy of The Irishman is due, I think, right before Thanksgiving. I'm very excited.
Oh, cool.
Oh, is it on Criterion already?
Yup. It's getting released later this month.
Dude,
Love
that's
Criterion.
awesome.
The cover for it is just a gorgeous painting of like Frank's hand on his knee with the ring.
Very cool.
It's very good. Yeah, I can't wait. The Irishman was my favorite movie of 2019 and the last decade.
Ooh, that's saying something. Okay.
You know, I loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, you know what?
Was that your flick?
That was my 2019.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah, I loved it.
that's fair.
It's not my favorite Tarantino, and it's kind of a muddy film.
Yeah.
But narratively, it's not great. But it's It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and you are enjoying your time with those characters, and then on it, that's all it comes down to, really, at the end of the day.
Great characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
The story is not great. And it's probably his sloppiest like written script.
Yeah.
Um,
Which, and he worked for a long time on it, right?
yeah, I guess so. But it could have gone through a few more drafts. I think
Yeah.
could have tightened it up. But
That ending kind of feels
yes,
tacked on.
yes, the ending was not. I had higher hopes for it.
Yeah.
But that being said, man, uh, uh, Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth, man, those are my guys.
Yes. Honestly.
They're so much fun.
I love when De Niro's or DiCaprio's just breaking down in his trailer. Oh yeah, have another drink. No more drink, and then he's drinking and just like
Yeah.
screaming at himself. And yeah, it's a good one.
The flashback to when Cliff beat the shit out of Bruce Lee. So good.
That part I didn't care for, but
No?
no.
Okay. Was it the Bruce Lee portrayal?
Yeah, it felt
It
just
wasn't.
kind of mean spirited and racist to me.
Well,
But
it wasn't. It wasn't nice.
yeah,
It
and
was.
like
It was
I understood the point. I understand what Tarantino was
was
trying to do, but
sure paint Cliff to be this badass, and yeah, kind of take the piss, to use a British expression, on a. I like my Britishisms.
Yeah, dude.
quite good that.
This
Can
is
relate.
quite good.
Quite good. Can
It's
relate.
quite good that. Yeah, but it takes the piss a bit on Bruce Lee for sure.
Hey.
Yeah. But yeah, very nice. Well, I'll hit you guys with my top 5 Scorsese real quick. I was gonna put The Irishman at number 5, but Shawnee, you said it, and I figured why not get a little more variety. So I'm gonna go number 5, Mean Streets.
Ooh,
This is the first Scorsese De Niro collaboration. Harvey Keitel is actually the star of this movie, and it's his Scorsese's real breakout feature. He had done Who's That Knocking at My Door, but I believe this is his second feature film, and it's really good. It's, I think if you're going to watch it now in 2020, you need to have a bit of patience for it. But it's about those neighborhood guys who just kind of can't get out of their own way and cling to this lifestyle that promises them a lot but delivers very little. And it's kind of heartbreaking, but like everything else in Scorsese's filmography, it's also darkly very funny. And De Niro has never looked younger, and he plays this kind of dumb but this kind of talker, and like De Niro is so good. You see flourishes of everything else in his career in this kind of first time out. And the first kind of moment in the movie is Harvey Keitel's in church, and he's holding his hand over the flame of the candle at church, and you're listening to his inner monologue, but it's actually Scorsese's voice doing the monologue. And he says, you don't make up for your sins in church. You do it on the street, and the rest is bullshit, and you know it. And boom, the movie begins with the Ronettes Be My Baby. And it just feels like such a thesis statement for his entire career.
Yeah,
for his
isn't it
entire career.
like 8mm home movies?
Mhm.
Be My Baby over the top classic.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so, and like that, the song just like, you're kind of like, okay, yeah, no. It's just, what a perfect way to begin a film. Mean Streets number 5. Number 4, Danny, I don't know if you've seen this one, and because I think if you have, it would have been on your list. King of Comedy.
Haven't seen it.
Oh,
I know.
I don't think I've seen that one either, actually.
King of Comedy is white fucking hot. It's so good. It is so good. If you want another Travis Bickle level performance, it is completely different, kind of from Travis Bickle, but it's that level of performance that De Niro gives.
I I've heard the Todd Phillips's Joker compared quite a bit to that. We don't
You'll
have to
see a
talk
lot of
about
stuff
the Joker, but
taken directly from King of Comedy. In fact, I think it takes more from King Comedy than it does Taxi Driver.
interesting.
Even the final shot of the movie is a bit or a gag in King Comedy. But yeah, it's a really, really good movie, and it's actually, unlike Joker, a smart comment on society and fame and all of that, mental health and all that kind of shit.
I didn't care for that movie.
Yeah, sorry if Sean, it was
I
Sean's
know.
favorite
It's
movie of
also,
last year.
yeah.
Sorry, Shawnee.
It's all good. Doesn't matter.
It was fine.
It was
It was a fine movie.
fine.
It was
It's
a movie
fine.
I have
Average.
zero desire to ever watch again.
Same.
Number 3, The Departed. Hello, Darling. Number 2. I'm gonna go Goodfellas number 2, and Taxi Driver number 1. It was. I remember watching Taxi Driver for the first time in my room by myself. I was 18 and I had no idea what the fuck I just watched, but I knew it was great. I had no idea like why anything happened or whatever. It took, dissecting the featurettes and listening to Scorsese and Schrader and Paul Schrader and all of them, talk about this movie and what it meant and all this stuff. And you're watching it and you almost feel like like they just had a script and a camera and they just went for it. You know what I mean? Like there's no flourishes. It's not polished. You know what I mean? It's just raw fucking filmmaking, and it feels honest, and it's kind of harrowing, really. But 50 years later, I think Taxi Driver feels more dangerous now than it probably did back then.
You feel like you're going crazy watching it,
Mm-hmm.
especially when there's weird cuts where it just it repeats.
Listen, you screwheads, you fucker. Listen, you screwheads, you fucker. And he's like,
yeah, it looks like a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
There's one shot in particular that really calls attention to itself, and it's maybe my favorite shot in all of Scorsese's filmography. And it's when Travis is on the phone. He's on a payphone with Betsy in a hallway, and it's after he's taken her to the porn theater and she wants nothing to do with him, and he's like trying to convince her to let him take her out again. Oh, you're busy, huh? Yeah, working hard. Okay. Well, I'd really like to take you out again and it's awkward, it's cringy, and the camera just unmotivated moves, and De Niro's out of frame, and it's just looking down this hallway, and you can hear him finishing up the conversation, and he hangs up and he walks out the door. And I'm like, what the I've never seen anything like that before, ever. And Scorsese's reasoning behind it was, it was too painful to watch Travis get rejected that way. But when Travis is, guns blazing, blowing people up and shooting off their fingers and shooting them in the neck, like Scorsese's right there. You know what I mean? He's looking at it. And but seeing him on a payphone get rejected was too painful. So the camera had to, it's fascinating to me. I don't think you could get away with that today.
No, if you tried a shot like that, you'd be told, get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
Put the camera on him.
Put it on him.
That's your star.
Yeah. Pay him big money for this face. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's how the producers talk. So.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think that's exactly how it goes. But yeah, that has always stuck with me. Yeah.
Very cool.
And in fact, I think, Danny, you're like one of the only people where I'm like, Taxi Driver and you're like, yes. Yeah, and that's probably not fair to say because I'm sure I showed it to you, Shawnee, and you know, you watch it, but like I've shown it to quite a few people, and usually the reaction is not for me. You know, like people have a very hard time with that movie.
Yeah, there's been times where I've lent people the DVD, like, here, watch it. You won't regret it. And then the next day, one particular friend of mine brought it back the next day, and I said, "Oh, what'd you think? Wasn't it great?" And he said, "You know what, Dan? I didn't finish it." I said, "Why not?" "Well, here, take it back, finish it tonight." He said, uh, I cut it off at this scene, and he said he cut it off right before the good gets good, right before he goes in
He
and
goes Mohawk and
yeah, but he cut it
yeah.
off. He just couldn't. He was bored by it, and he just didn't.
Damn.
I said, "Man, I can't. It's so not boring."
It's
But
not like you watch De Niro, and De Niro is fascinating. I got a lot of bad ideas in my head. I don't know, you know, and
yeah,
um, fuck, yeah, it's such a good movie.
but like I was saying, different from his usual. It's not go go go, camera constantly in motion. It's very different.
It's
Um,
European almost.
yeah, yeah. There's like uh, I'm losing my snobby film school terms, but the like
Cinema
the
verite,
yes, yeah, it's very cinema verite.
you know. Um, Another one, I think Raging Bull is kind of in a similar vein where but that movie to me is not enjoyable like at all. I respect it. It's well made, it's well crafted, it's beautiful, but I watched it last 1 year ago today actually. I threw it on his birthday. And it was just like, why am I doing this to myself? Like I'm not, this isn't doing anything for me. You know what I mean? Like um it's a punishing watch. And I took my brother to see it in the theater. And I remember we walked out and I was like, well, and he's like, no, dude. It's just like, no.
Yeah, and it's like his most celebrated film too.
Mm-hmm. Which I would not tell people like, oh, if you want to get into Scorsese, go watch Raging Bull. Like they're never gonna watch another one of his movies. You
You
know?
got to start him off with like Goodfellas or something. That's what.
I'd say Goodfellas or The Departed.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Actually, I fairly liked Hugo too. When,
Hugo was really great and really sweet.
you know, I maybe for not the like the gangsters murdering crowd. You know what I mean? Like that could be a easy one to kind of ease into some of the Scorsese.
That's true.
Uh,
Or Last Temptation of Christ.
I don't know about that one.
I really love that movie. I watch it every Easter.
That one's expert level Scorsese.
You know, the thing about Last Temptation is you need to know the actual canon Bible story before you watch that movie. If you don't know anything about Jesus or the Bible or anything like that, and you go into that cold, could you imagine? Could you imagine trying to wrap your head around like what is this? What are they trying to say? What is this movie trying to do? Like
He,
you need a starting point before you can enjoy that movie, I think.
I feel like I've seen him apologize for that movie multiple times. Like I think he's
Really?
sorry. Yeah, I think he didn't expect to offend people or didn't hope. That wasn't the intention. And
yeah.
I've seen numerous interviews with him where he's always kind of like, people weren't ready for it, or yeah, it didn't communicate the way I hoped it would.
That's fair. And he was given like no budget. You know, it's kind of rough looking.
Yeah,
Um but you get Willem Dafoe as Jesus.
yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. Inspired
Holding an
choice.
axe.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
I really
I
like
wouldn't have thought of that.
Silence. No one's gonna, I would not recommend Silence to hardly
Um,
anyone.
I I missed that one too.
Yeah, same.
Oh,
I
I would recommend Silence to you. I think you'd like it.
okay.
but it's one of those ones where you're like, I'm going to be watching a film now. I need to concentrate.
Yeah,
There's no score, you know.
there's not.
No.
No. Sweet Jesus.
And it's like, almost 3 hours.
Okay.
It's good. It's very good. Well, like if you're in a spiritual mood.
Yeah. Well, see, my love of Scorsese is such that this is a movie that if it had someone else's name on it, I would say, no way in hell I'm going to watch that.
Yeah.
But I'll watch it only because it's Marty. You gotta.
Yeah. And we shot these Jesuit priests in feudal Japan, and we hit them up on the cross, and I don't know. I don't know. I just love hearing him talk about movies and explain things. I could listen to him all day. I would love for him to do Ways. And you're gonna make a right, and then you're gonna make a left, and then you're gonna make 2 more rights, and then you're gonna make you're just gonna keep going straight.
Well, do you remember he did that commercial for Apple?
That was a good one, yeah.
The Siri commercial.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually,
get on it, Apple.
Honestly,
have you guys heard of Masterclass, like the Masterclass series?
Yeah.
I saw a commercial like a few weeks ago, and Martin Scorsese has one on there too, man. So you can, it's weird. I do music and stuff, but those Masterclass commercials are just so like engaging and so interesting that you just want to sign up for one of those things. Like eventually I feel like I'm going to sign up and just like watch Steve Martin play like banjo or something, or learn from Martin Scorsese, or see, what, as a filmmaker, how he sees things and how he puts it together. So, yeah, I thought of you, Joey. I was like, dude, this would be perfect thing for Joey right now. Just watch this.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Score. And it's got like different, a lot of different, like categories and different types of things he gets into. So it seems like a very interesting watch. But I don't know too much about the Masterclass subscription, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, hey. Hell yeah. Least favorite Scorsese film off the top of your head? Mine will be Shutter Island.
Probably Shutter Island too. Yeah.
I hate to just say the same answer. Yeah, I guess it'll be Shutter Island.
All three.
It's unanimous, folks.
No.
Oh,
I don't hate Shutter Island. But what is my least favorite Scorsese movie? That's a good question. It's a good question you put to me, Joe.
Well, because it's like even the ones that like I don't necessarily want to watch all the time. Like I respect Age of Innocence way more than I respect Shutter Island. You know what I mean? Like Shutter Island may be more entertaining, and it may sound more appealing to just pop on, but I get more out of Age of Innocence than you know what I mean?
Really interesting.
I love Age of Innocence.
I
got on Criterion.
Gotta love Criterion.
The colors are just incredible in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Criterion.
It's really good.
Sure. I'll echo Shutter Island.
Fantastic. There we go. And no one even brought up The Aviator. The Aviator's good.
I love The Aviator.
Dude.
The Aviator's really good.
Way of the future.
Yep. Way of the future. Way of the future. Way of the future.
You get anxious watching that movie because, like, you see all his OCD things, and yeah, man, peas in jars. Yeah, that was intense. Yeah, that was an interesting scene. Fuck,
yeah,
that's it. That is a good movie, Aviator.
What if there was just a whole scene of DiCaprio just pissing into a jar?
I mean,
like no point other than just to show, like, I don't know.
Should
probably. I don't know.
Maybe we'll see it one day.
Yeah,
maybe one day.
Some cut scenes, some behind the scenes action.
That man ate raw something for the Oscar. That movie where he was in the wilderness where the bear attacks him.
Oh, Revenant.
Yes,
Yeah,
Still haven't seen that.
it's good.
Is it good? It looks so boring. I think I've tried to start it a couple times. And I was just like,
Oh, it's good.
I felt the weight of watching it. You know,
Give it another try when you should try it. It's a good movie.
for sure. Right on. I like Inarito. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Alejandro.
Yeah, yeah. I love Birdman. I think Birdman's great.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't totally get it. I guess maybe maybe a little bit went over my head.
Let me explain it to you. No. No. It's yeah. I don't know. That's a movie that kind of reminds me of Mother.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
You didn't like Mother? Oh man, I love Mother. Because
Oh,
it's so open to interpretation. Like, you know, if you go in there and you're watching it, you can kind of be
hated
like,
it.
okay, I think this is what they're trying to say, and you know, you hated it.
Yeah. There.
Yeah.
What movie did I see that in my mind was like, this is what Mother wanted to be.
The
Um,
recent film had to be.
recent-ish. Um, I can't remember. Was it one of um, tangent? I guess one of my like new favorite filmmakers is oh, Ari Aster.
Or I knew
Ari
you were gonna
Aster.
say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
Man, I
He's great.
whatever
I
he's
did.
doing next, I'm on board.
I'll
Hereditary,
admit,
loved it. Midsummer,
Hereditary. I wasn't on board with, but I love Midsummer.
yes. I loved them both. Sean,
Still gotta
how you
watch
feel?
both those movies.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've been recommended Hereditary from
Are
like
you a horror
everyone.
guy? I forget.
I mean, I don't mind watching horror movies. It's not my. I'm you know me. I'm a sci-fi, like I just want to like escape from Earth kind of thing. But I've heard a lot of good things about both those movies, and we've talked about it on the show before.
Okay,
Um,
they're both they're both not easy watches.
yeah,
Yeah.
at least if like I do want to watch Hereditary eventually. And I guess knowing that, like I think it's good to like know that and just like okay, I just gotta just kind of take it in as it is. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, so you really like the, I guess this is the director, right, from for both those movies.
yeah, yeah. I think he's great. If you if you haven't seen his short films, there's one that he does called "The Strange Thing About the Johnsons." Just look into it.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Him and Scorsese have like a 30-minute conversation on the Criterion channel. That's
Ooh.
on there right now, actually.
Sounds right up my alley.
Yeah. And they're both just geeking out, just like, oh, and you've seen this picture. Oh, this director, yeah, 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 yeah. You know, and they're just, it's great. It's really something.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Um,
Very cool.
not bad, not bad. That,
That's cool.
It's quite good.
quite good. That. All right. Well, friends, it is November, and some people like to use this month to watch film noirs and call it Noirvember. Um, Danny, we kind of, you know, I think we are very much in love with the noir aesthetic. Um, you know, the kind of, well, let me first, you know, what is film noir for the uninitiated? It's kind of came about in the 1940s, I guess. It's this kind of feeling of post-war. The men come back; they don't really know their place in the world anymore. At least this is kind of how it was described to me in film class at SF State. And you know, the protagonists are more anti-heroes than anything. They're morally ambiguous, and there's usually a femme fatale type character that kind of leads them down a dark path that they probably shouldn't go to, but they're too kind of weak-willed to fight against it and wind up kind of doing themselves in, really. Um, that and visually it takes cues from German expressionism. It's usually black and whites. It's, you know, kind of inky blacks with those wonderful shots of like a character looking out a window and a character behind them, and they're both talking to each other, and or, you know, with the different use of shadows, heavy use of shadows and things like that. But that's not really, you know, it's kind of hard to, you know, it's not like you can say action movie or drama, or, you know, film noir can kind of incorporate elements of all these different genres. So it's a little harder to pin down, but
You
when
know
I
it
think,
when you see it.
you know, when you see it, and when I think of it, I think of like 1940s, you know, early 1950s kind of stuff. But there's neo noirs, like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, or even Blade Runner is considered a noir. But yeah, so that's kind of, that's for the uninitiated, that's film noir in a nutshell. And like I said, you know, I think when we started really falling in love with film, we really fell in love with film noir as an aesthetic and kind of as a genre. But yeah, that's kind of an introduction, if I may. And the topic for tonight is top 5 film noirs. And if anyone would like to go first.
I suppose I can.
Hey.
Right on.
Again, I'm glad you went over that, because I was thinking that it's kind of ambiguous what a film noir is, right? And as I was thinking of things, I was like, is this film noir? Does it belong here? So my first choice, I don't know if it's a film noir exactly, but it's a really weird movie that I saw. It's called Suddenly Last Summer, and it's from 1959. It's starring Elizabeth Taylor, Katharine Hepburn, and Montgomery Clift.
Ooh, okay.
I suggest you check it out. I think it was written by Tennessee Williams, or co-written, and
Oh, right on.
he's always writing weird stuff. But I don't want to say too much. It's one of these movies where you got to see, but it involves cannibalism, closeted homosexuality in like the 50s, which you didn't see that in movies really.
No.
And using women as bait to lure men. Katharine Hepburn plays like this really uptight mother of this man who died in the movie. Is kind of a mystery where we're trying to figure out. Elizabeth Taylor is in like the insane asylum because of this trauma that she experienced when at the death of this person, and and Montgomery Clift is kind of like the straight man trying to like unravel what happened, get to the bottom of it, and it kind of works its way backwards until the last scene is where we find out what happened on this fateful day. It's really bizarre. It's really weird. It was my first introduction to Elizabeth Taylor, which is an interesting first movie for her. She's great in it, as always.
Right on.
Very weird movie. And like I said, I don't know if it's a noir, but it checks some of the boxes. And
it's got a noir name. That's a fantastic title.
Yeah, Suddenly Last Summer. Yeah. I suggest you guys can check it out if you can find somewhere to track it down.
Hell yeah.
It's definitely a movie that it's not, you don't see it on any lists or anything.
How were you introduced to it?
In school, one of my teachers, one of our instructors screened it for us.
That's awesome.
And that's one of the things that I love so much about going to, as much as a waste of money as film school was. There's a lot of great movies that I saw that I wouldn't have otherwise seen. So
yeah, right on.
Nice.
Yep, that's number 5.
Would you like to keep?
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to go down the list?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we could rotate if you want, or
I can go down the list. Yeah.
hell yeah.
Sunset Boulevard, number 4.
Hey.
Um, Classic. Everybody. It's kind of one of the ones that you think of when you think of noir. I'm ready for my close up, and it's one of these. Living in LA too. It's one of these like love letters to LA and to Hollywood, but it's also, I guess, one of these movies that paints Hollywood as this ugly underbelly. Not as glamorous. When the glitz and the glamour dies, what happens to these old washed up, silent film stars? And just loving LA and like Hollywood culture and being really nerdy for that stuff. That's another thing about film noirs too, is that so many of them take place in like are set in LA. So driving down, the street here, I feel like I'm a grizzled old detective, driving past all these, Spanish colonial homes, and it's great. Sunset Boulevard, number 4.
Oh yeah.
Number 3 is a Hitchcock film, Notorious.
Ooh.
Right on.
He's not known for film noirs, but I feel like Notorious is a film noir, and it's not one of his better known, most talked about, but it's one of my favorite films of his, and it's with Ingrid Bergman, Cary Grant, and it's good stuff. It has to do with Nazis.
Her father's a Nazi, right?
Yes, I believe so. It's been years since I saw it, but it has she has to infiltrate. She has to infiltrate, like, sort of the Nazis, and she gets engaged to one or marries one as a way just to get inside.
Oh damn.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's a real nail biter.
Right on.
Another classic, number 2, Double Indemnity. This one is, when I think of film noir, this is like the classic tropes, right? The insurance salesman goes to the home of the divorcee, or the woman who wants to take out life insurance because she has plans to kill her husband. You got the femme fatale, Barbara Stanwyck, Fred McMurray. Who's that? Look here, what's his
It's
name?
Edward G. Robinson.
Yes, he's in it as Fred McMurray's boss. Yeah, so good. And without going into spoiler territory, it's just the classic sort of, I guess, stereotypical beats of film noir.
Mm-hmm.
This movie's got them right.
And not only the beats, but also the dialogue, right? I guess you would call it the meet cute or whatever. But when Fred McMurray and Barbara Stanwyck, how fast was I going, officer? Oh, and like,
a lot of like racy sexual innuendo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fast paced, just back and forth. They're ping ponging each other. It's so good. It's like, that's acting with a capital A. It's very good.
Yeah, they talk very fast. Yeah, it's very like 1940s. Those transatlantic accents.
Yeah.
Great stuff. And number 1 is Chinatown, which is
okay.
Which is later. It's the 70s, but it's film noir, for sure. I think through and through, it's a film noir. You got the jazz, the smooth jazz, Jerry Goldsmith's score, which is just kind of always underneath everything. Private eye, private investigator, investigating. He gets himself in too deep. He
gets nosy.
He gets too nosy. Yeah, and you know what happens to nosy boys, right? Yeah, so good. That movie
is my daughter and my sister.
I said the truth. Yeah. Have you seen that, Sean?
I have not.
Oh man. You're one of the great twists.
Ooh,
honestly.
Okay.
Well, and one of the great final lines in movie history.
Oh, okay.
Forget it, Jake.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown. Yeah.
Man.
which you've seen spoofed a million times. It's one of Jack Nicholson's best roles too.
Yeah, he's so good in it.
Yeah, Faye Dunaway.
You know, we watched it was probably my screenwriting class. We watched, you know, the kind of the opening scene, and you know how did the filmmaker kind of portray, because in the beginning of the movie, this rich old woman comes to him and is like, I think my husband's having an affair, I want you to spy on him. So he gets the pictures, blah blah blah, and this woman comes into his office a couple days later and goes, why were you taking pictures of my husband? He's like, oh, this woman hired me to take pictures, you know, blah blah. She's like, no, I'm the real Mrs. Mulray. And you know, it's really interesting because they're like, look at the way he dressed the first woman that comes to him, and she's like wearing all these jewels and all these furs and blah blah blah, and then Faye Dunaway isn't wearing any of that stuff. She's just kind of in a blouse and kind of coming in. They're like, well, if you were trying to look rich, you're going to put all that stuff on, but someone who actually is rich doesn't need to do that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just, that's such subtle directing, but it's, and you don't even know that it's doing something in your head, but it is. And you know what I mean? And you're kind of drawing conclusions, and it's, you know.
Yeah. And again, set in LA, set in like
Set in
19
LA, yeah.
The water
70s,
wars.
yeah, set in like 1930s LA. Very cool.
Dude,
Very cool.
I got a lot of movies to
Love
watch,
it.
man.
Oh, Chinatown's. Can we recommend it because of, you know, Polanski?
I think so.
Okay. We're gonna go for it then.
Rosemary's Baby is still
It's so good.
my favorite movie of all time.
Is that's your number one? Wow.
One or two.
Oh man. Well, what's the other one? What's like the interchanging?
Goodfellas.
Nice.
That's still in my top 5 all times. Goodfellas, dude.
It's good stuff.
Enjoyed the list, Danny. I actually have really
Very good
I
list.
kind of want to watch some of the films you've recommended, because it's definitely noir is definitely a genre. I guess a genre film that I haven't really dove into as much, and it's just great because there's so many films that have covered that kind of, you know, that kind of look and the types of characters, and it's probably one I'm like really. I feel like I should be like way more into those because it's just that's the kind of stuff I like. So.
And I feel like in the 40s they were just cranking those out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it didn't cost, you know, $300 million to make one movie back then.
Yeah. You know, for sure. And they were kind of like B movies, weren't they? In a way, some of them.
A lot of them, yeah.
You had some really like highbrow ones, but a lot of them were just kind of in the B category.
Kind of like westerns, you know.
Yeah.
How about you, Shawnee?
Okay, so yeah, I have a few noir movies.
Fantastic.
I should definitely I definitely want to do some more watching as far as just kind of the traditional film noir type films. I did have Sunset Boulevard on my 5. Kind of funny because I've been living in LA for like a few years now, so it's like it's kind of funny when I saw this film and then like you kind of get here and you know it's like, is it like this? But again, just being able to capture that obviously the city and you know, it's a very interesting film, and as far as maybe a good introduction maybe to me as far as like the noir genre. So yeah, Sunset Boulevard for number 5. I have a Stanley Kubrick movie for number 4. This one I can't remember when I saw it, but it is. I didn't realize it was in the noir genre. But it's the Killing. Have you guys seen The Killing?
Killing is very good.
It's kind of like a not a heist movie, but
yeah.
Absolutely
a heist movie. Yeah.
In that kind of in that genre or whatever. But
is Sterling Hayden, I think, is the main character?
Believe so. And it was like
the Officer McCluskey from The Godfather.
Yeah. Well, and I'm trying to think, is Is it one of? I'm trying to think if it was one of Stanley Kubrick's like earlier.
It is, yeah. It's one of his
This
first
it's
films.
like before 2001. And
Oh
like
yeah,
his
yeah,
most
yeah.
like kind of known for movies, but yeah, it's got like heist. It's I think it was about like a something to do with like a race. Like he was just trying to
They're trying to rob the racetrack.
racetrack, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff in the film, and I think now knowing a little bit more about film noir, maybe just kind of the themes that are in there and the things you see, it definitely I feel captures that kind of vibe, and yeah, it's my kind of my first time first exposures to some of the earlier Kubrick films, and I have seen a few of his most known ones, so it's kind of cool to venture into some of his older filmography as well. So yeah, Killing for number 4. I've got number 3, Brick, directed by Ryan Johnson, which I guess
Good.
so this would be like neo noir.
Hmm.
It's interesting. It takes like what I liked about it was the whole kind of murder mystery, but instead of kind of having it surrounded by I would even say adults too, it's surrounded by these high schoolers, and they have this kind of murder mystery between this high school class, and it's very as even for Ryan Johnson, I think in some of his earlier films, it's probably one of his most known for one, aside from his dip into Star Wars. But yeah, I fairly like this movie, and it's got some of those tropes, of course, and the kind of murder mystery, and trying to figure out. There's like a lot of great like these hallway conversations between students, and so it's just like it's weird how you can see it, and it's like it feels like a noir film, and it takes some of these these kind of older concepts, and the way they are able to frame those into like a film like this. So
Well, and he uses it's set in modern day and modern high school, but everyone's talking like it's the 1940s.
that too, yeah, that was like the big thing with that, and that's what when I was like looking through some lists, I was like, oh, what would be considered noir, and it's like when I came across Brick, I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize it falls within there, and now now knowing some of the kind of things that are in noir, it's cool to hear that now. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, number 3, Brick. Okay, I hope I get these. I hope these work. But number 2, Sin City, A Dame to Kill For.
You're pushing it. You're
I
pushing
know.
it, my friend. I'm gonna give it to you, but
I know.
you're pushing it.
I
But
mean,
Sin City is like
it's kind of like
it's a like it's a cartoon version
yeah,
of noir. It's definitely inspired by
inspired
Yeah.
by yeah.
The
Uh,
hard-boiled kind of, yeah.
it's like all the tropes,
exactly.
but like dialed to 11.
Yeah. And maybe that's why I thought of it for this list is it like had all those little like it almost felt like like one of those older very early noir films, and of course it's like inspired by Frank Miller's comics, and it has I guess it could be considered a comic book film in a way. But I don't know. I like the the look, and maybe just the way they were able to film it, and kind of even the like wardrobe choices, and just some of those like little things, like I guess the certain like tropes of like noir. But I still enjoy the film, and I didn't really bother for the second one. But I don't know. Yeah, Sin City. Thanks for giving me that one.
It's a good flick. It's a good flick.
And 2, this is also one I was a little like, I don't know if this is in it or not, but it's a Christopher Nolan film. I've got Memento, which
I'll
kind
allow it.
of,
I'll allow
kind
it.
of,
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's, not saying like the black and white scenes, like, oh, that's like noir or whatever, but like, yeah, it has, it has a very interesting structure, and it's definitely not traditionally as far as like a noir film, especially how Nolan chose to spoiler alert if you haven't seen Memento yet, guys. But it turns out the whole movie is like the events are happening in reverse, and the character has this memory loss. So when you
Yeah,
watch it, you're kind of getting new information on
it's non-linear.
what happened previously, and it's a very interesting uh, choice, I think, for Nolan for that film. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of I could see a few of those those like little tropes that kind of stick out in the movie, and yeah, I don't know. It's up there as one of my kind of favorite Nolan movies, and yeah, I think that's all I could say. It like
Fair.
every week, we have sometimes, especially when we did the with Mickey and the three friends, like they do the Criterion collection, and there's just a lot of great movies that I think definitely go under my radar for sure. And so that's why I'm always excited, even though I don't know too much about noir films. It's great like having you guys share some of these films tonight, because it's something that I would love to check out, or might pique my interest. So yeah, that's my 5.
Very nice. Hell yeah, Shawnee. That's not a bad 5, my friend.
Thank you.
Not a bad 5 at all.
I'm kind of interested to hear yours, Joey, because
Well, I hope you don't mind, but I love film noir, so I'm just gonna give some honorable mentions before I get to my 5. Is that okay?
yes.
I'm gonna take Sunset Boulevard off my list just so that I have a completely fresh list. But Sunset Boulevard originally was number 3 on my list. I do love that movie. But so that'll be an honorable mention, along with I just saw The Lost Weekend for the first time. Billy Wilder, I believe it won Best Picture, about an alcoholic having a really long weekend with dealing with his alcoholism. Very good film. Very, very good film. Double Indemnity, Lever to Heaven, shot in Technicolor. Amazing film, and it's all about this kind of woman who's just jealous of everyone who comes into contact with her new husband and everything. It's very good, very good. Ace in the Hole, another Billy Wilder, Kirk Douglas team up. I had Chinatown, Touch of Evil, and the Maltese Falcon, which is often cited as one of the first film noirs.
I almost put that down.
It's hard to leave off, but it's
yeah, it's kind of one of the quintessential ones.
Yeah, John Huston's first picture, I think.
Is it? Oh.
But to my actual list, my number 5, I'm gonna go In a Lonely Place. It's a Nicholas Ray film. Humphrey Bogart plays kind of a crazy screenwriter with a temper, and he is at the wrong place at the wrong time. Or I think the film actually leaves it ambiguous. There's a murder, and he's a suspect, and you never really find out whether he did or not. And the longer the movie goes on, the more you're like, maybe he did do it. And there's a love affair with a woman who lives in his apartment complex or whatever, and he there's a really great line of dialogue that he comes up with, and he keeps trying to fit into a script. I was born when she met me, I died when she left me, I lived for a moment while she loved me, or something like that. It's and it also has one of those things, in old movies, the way people propose to each other is just kind of out of the fucking blue. I could be thinking of a different movie, but I want to say there's a scene where they're like, well, what do you say, kid? Why don't we? Okay. Really? Do you mean it? Yeah. And like, no thought put into your future whatsoever. Just like, what do you say? We can get married if we get this across state lines by the evening, or, and you'll be calling me Mrs. I don't know. That kind of stuff happens in it. Number 4, I saw this on the Criterion Channel, Gun Crazy. It's a B picture about a guy who loves guns and loves shooting, has impeccable aim, but he's not a killer. And he falls for this woman who's in like a traveling kind of sideshow, and she is a great shot, but man, she is addicted to killing. And
Ooh, I like that premise.
and is, you know, inspired by Bonnie and Clyde. It's very good. And yeah, it's fast paced. It's a short film. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. Hi, Timmy Quickscopes 26 in the chat. Hello,
What's
sir.
up? Thanks for joining us.
Hopefully you're a sir. I don't know. Hello, ma'am, if you're not. Or hello, person. How's that? Number 3. I don't know if this counts as a film noir, but I love this movie so much, and I'm gonna throw it up there since I already named all the other honorable mentions. The Bad and the Beautiful. It certainly has a film noir title. Have you guys seen this movie?
No.
Oh, Vincent Minnelli. You'd really love it. It's about old Hollywood. It's about an old Hollywood. Kirk Douglas plays a Hollywood producer, and he's just despicable. You learn, you know, it's the movie opens with these 3 people called into this old producer's office. They're like, "We want you to work with Jonathan Shields one last time." Jonathan Shields is Kirk Douglas, and then you find out there's one of them is a director, one of them's a starlet, and one of them is a writer, and he's fucked over all 3 of these people. And like the movie is just kind of in 3 separate vignettes of his kind of manipulating these people and then fucking them over. And it's a really great movie. Really great movie. I watched it with my mom on Christmas a couple of years ago, and it's like that's like our movie now, you know. Number 2, Detour. Detour and Gun Crazy and maybe even Bad and the Beautiful were all films I first heard about thanks to the documentary A Personal Journey with Martin Scorsese through American movies. So it all ties back together. But Detour is about I believe he's a piano player, or maybe he's an upright bassist, but he's in love with the singer, and she moves down to LA to kind of start her career. And he's like, "Well, baby, I'm going to come and I'm going to marry you," and blah, blah, blah. And he is on his way down, and the guy, he's hitchhiking, the guy who gives him a ride falls out of his car, and he's just dead. And he's like, they would have thought it was me, so I took his wallet and hid the body and took the car. And then he winds up finding this woman who had gotten a ride from the guy previously, so she's like, "You killed him, and you were going to do exactly as I say, or you're going to go to the police." Great movie. It's like an hour long. It's amazing. The shots are just incredible, and it's one of those shoestring B movie pictures that had no budget. It's so good. And then number 1 of my favorite movies of all time, The Third Man, directed by Carol Reed. Orson Welles is in it. Perfect movie. Joseph Cotton, and Valley. It's just a beautiful movie. It's, I think, maybe the most beautiful movie ever made, up there with like Barry Lyndon. But yeah, I don't, we've talked a lot about The Third Man on this show and the zither and all of it. I don't know what else to say, but movie is very near and dear to my heart.
Dude.
Yeah, great list. I have
dude.
These are all movies that you've recommended to me before that are on a to-watch list.
You haven't seen The Third Man?
Well, The Third Man, yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay.
You showed that to me back in high school.
Okay. Thank God.
Yes. I own it.
Hey.
The Criterion, because that's worth some money right now. It's out of print.
Yeah, I think I own the Criterion. Is it?
Yeah, it's worth it. It's those, like, the DVD goes for like $200 or $300.
Shitting on a gold mine.
Hey.
I was thinking as you guys were going through, and we're kind of going through what's considered noirs. Would you consider like the Coen brothers movies like Fargo, or what's the one with Oscar Isaac?
Inside Llewyn Davis.
Yeah, but like movies like Fargo, would you consider those to be noirs?
They certainly have certain elements and trademarks. They don't pop into my brain as such, but I think when you think about them, they could definitely pass.
Even Lebowski a little bit.
Yeah. I always see Lebowski on film noir lists. and it's never one that comes to mind. Like,
Well, because it's a
uh,
comedy first, I guess. Um,
it's well, that's kind of the great thing about their movies. They're just, the story is the story. Parts of it are going to be funny, parts of it are not. Like it's never. And really, when you look at these old movies that that we just talked about, like Billy Wilder always said, we didn't know if a movie was a comedy until we screamed it, and then people laughed, and we said, okay, I guess we got a comedy. Or if people seemed scared, okay, I guess we got a horror picture. It's and I think the Coens go in that way too. You watch something like maybe Burn After Reading was kind of their both feet into the comedy world, but there's even parts of that movie that are completely shocking
mhm.
and kind of horrifying. you know
Yeah.
That's
Sorry, was
that's
that I just
No,
kind of went off there.
no. That's interesting to think though, because just like looking at specific directors and maybe like the type of the films they create, especially the Coen brothers. Like, I think that's an interesting thing. I definitely was definitely like leaning on Joey for that one because I was like, you probably have a better idea of what that entails. But I can now, like, thinking about it, yeah, I could kind of see that with the, especially with like Fargo maybe. Like,
Yeah, a guy staging his wife's kidnapping
yeah.
for money,
It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, it works.
A sleazy car salesman from North
Yeah.
Dakota.
Fuck, yeah, oh, man, yeah.
Well, that
Make me think
works.
about that. Yeah, fuck, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's a great movie too. It's one of my favorite movies.
Fargo.
As a good flag.
Yeah.
Very good flag. Hell yeah. Shit.
Good
Could
list,
be talking
gentlemen.
movies all day.
Yeah.
Danny, do you have anything you would like to share with our dear sweet imaginary audience? Could be anything that you're excited to talk about, something you've just seen, or really?
Not too much. I guess I just started watching on Netflix The Queen's Gambit. You
Queen's
guys
How
check
is
it out?
that?
It's
How is
good.
it?
I'm on the third episode, but it's good. It's with Anya Taylor-Joy from Split and the Vivitch. Uh, it's good. It's about this young girl who's a, a chess genius, and it's a lot more interesting than you'd think a show about chess should be. Check it out. It's good.
Hell yeah.
My roommate recommended that to me, so I might check that one out as well.
Yeah. I've only just started, but I'm digging it so far.
The main actress, she has a very distinctive face, like, and I don't know what it is, but yeah,
Good or bad?
it's good. No, it's good. It's just she's very, and maybe that's why I'm a visual kind of dude, I guess. So it's like, yeah, I mean, every time I see the poster of her, it's like, or the little title card of her, I'm just like, damn,
Yeah.
this looks kind of interesting. I don't know, just
Good.
she pops out. So
Yeah, I'm a fan of her from The Witch. Have either of you seen that?
I passed out drunk during The Witch, but yes.
Really cool
And
movie.
also Split.
And Split.
I've seen Split.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's been in a few things. Yeah,
Um,
I recommend.
we have a question in the comments section from tax-free ponage. So with games like Ghosts of Tsushima incorporating a mode honoring the famous Japanese director Akira Kurosawa, are there other modes and genre that could do with some love for crossover from east to west and back? Could the Japanese fantasy learn something from cowboy culture? Please give this comment some love. Sending you
much
all the
love,
love.
Much love.
Well, Star Wars is just a ripoff of all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is true. Would you consider that honoring it or just kind of using it?
I think it's a little of both. I
Yeah,
think it's just
yeah.
Lucas loved it. A Bug's Life is Seven Samurai.
Yo,
Wow.
you
Okay.
just blew my mind right now. What?
Yeah,
You're right.
think about it.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
Dude, that's, oh, man.
That's wild.
It's been a minute.
Yeah,
since
I
I've seen
think
it.
I think movies and stories borrow all the time, or it's just straight up rip off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you.
Um,
I feel like there's always gonna be inspired.
Particularly Kurosawa for sure. I think there's a lot of like the directors from the 70s who really like revered him, and his influence appears a lot in like the that sort of generation of filmmakers.
Mhm.
yeah. Lucas worshipped him. I want to say Coppola worshipped him as well.
Yeah.
Um, and then you've got guys like Tarantino who were kind of the other end of the spectrum worshiping Godard.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think of other kind of East meets West and back, but like like you said, it's story, right? Like stories are universal, or at least they can be, and when they can be, they can be taken and pulled and stretched in any way possible. One of my favorites recently was, did you see? Was it? I think it's just called Batman Ninja.
Batman.
It's the
Ninja.
the anime, the Batman anime that
Oh,
came out like 2 years ago.
I haven't seen it, but
Yeah.
I think yeah, I remember
I
you
heard
talking
of
about
it,
that
but
one.
I didn't watch it.
I watched it and I didn't think I was going to like it. And honestly, it was one of the most refreshing Batman things I've seen in a very long time. It's
Mhm.
bananas.
Were there
It,
robots?
there were robots that like, so at one point there's like a robot and the bad guy is a robot. I want to say like this giant mecha thing. And Batman like turns into a bunch of bats and the bats come together and form like a giant mecha Batman. It's insane.
Whoa.
It's so good. Um, yeah. Oh, on a side note, would you rather see a 10-part series or a full 26 episode series given content in general sense? Ninja Batman is the shit. Ninja Batman is the shit. Um, just
Windows
any TV
Max.
show, tax-free ponage. I'd rather see a 10-part series. The shorter the better because otherwise I think you're stretching what
Stretching
you've
it.
got.
Yeah. I,
Look at like as good as Daredevil is on Netflix, none of those seasons needed to be 13 episodes. They could have done all 3 seasons in 8 episodes apiece.
yeah.
Um,
I'm on the fence because yeah, shorter the better. Like the shows that I've been getting into lately that I've been recommended. I'm like, how many seasons are in that show? And if they're like 1, 2, then I'll watch it. But I just can't I still want to watch. I still want to watch like Sopranos. We've talked about that. I tried watching all The Wire, and that's like 5, 6 seasons. But I'm almost there. But I had to stop because I just I can't stay in that world for too long. But I don't know. I mean, if you're talking 26 episodes, like one of my favorite animes, Cowboy Bebop, was a 26 episode. That's it. Like 26 episodes, you could tell your story arc from there. I've said this on the podcast before. Like Dark is like a German Netflix show. It had 3 seasons with a solid we're gonna do 3 and done kind of deal. So they had kind of an idea of where they wanted to go with the story arc. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just I can't watch. I've just realized I can't watch shows with 5, 6 seasons anymore. It's just I feel like you're just stretching it too much. Like you're trying to create something more out of the character. But I am gonna watch the new thing of Dexter when that comes out because everyone was not really happy with how that show ended. So I'm curious. The curiosity definitely got me on that one.
Hell yeah.
Danny, how do you feel, man, for that? Are you a long story arc show or kind of like a 1 season and I'm good off this?
It depends. Yeah, I just don't have the time anymore for too much content. That's why I'm kind of happy with the Netflix series have kind of been 10 episodes or fewer. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
A lot of the times that's plenty of time that a story needs. But I don't know, the typical, I guess, 25 episode show is it's kind of on its way out, or wouldn't you guys say?
I would have said that, but it's kind of hard now. I just read the other day that Netflix is going to start its own TV channel.
Oh, crazy!
Oh,
What?
Like what? I mean, because we've gotten to the point in the streaming wars where, it doesn't pay to be a cable cutter anymore. You're paying just as much, if not more, to have access to all these premium or Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus and Netflix and Criterion and Amazon Prime. And, it's just like, it's not worth it anymore. And I think people are going to either start going back to TV or figure something else out,
hmm
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but if you can tell your story in as few episodes as possible, I'm all about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of writing, is to be as concise as possible at the end of the day.
Yeah, and what's great is that there's some shows that I love, and you're sad when it's over. If 10
Mhm.
episodes, 9 episodes, it's not enough. You want more, but that's good because it leaves you really craving that next season. It didn't overstay its welcome, and I'd rather have a show um, leave me feeling like that than a show that I'm just bored with. It's like, all right, finally, the
Yeah,
last episode, we can wrap this thing up.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From
good times.
cable
Yeah.
channel.
Jonathan,
Yeah. What's up?
do you have anything you'd like to share with our dear, sweet, lovely imaginary audience this week?
Yeah, I always feel like I should share like a show I watch every week, but yeah, I started watching another show on HBO or HBO Max, I guess, right
Hubbo?
now. Well, yeah,
Hubbo?
Hubbo, Hubbo. Yeah, it's called. It's actually another show that my roommate recommended called Succession, and I think Andrew Hopkins mentioned that show when we were talking on our 200th episode. And yeah, it's I mean, in a short form, it's pretty much a family, kind of a corporate family business. Dad is the dad is like obviously the head honcho, and his it's pretty much who's going to be the successor of this company, and take ownership of the company when the father, obviously, if he gets sick or he passes on, because he's obviously getting older. It's the most vicious, like, it kind of reminded me of like Game of Thrones, when it was like the kind of family dynamics between some of the characters. And I mean, all these characters are pieces of shit. I mean, honestly, it's I don't know. I don't know how to describe like that. And I don't necessarily like watching shows like that. Like kind of self-deprecating like characters, and these characters are just so flawed that you just like hate them. But like, in a way, it's kind of gotten me to like, oh, it's giving me this reaction, like, this guy just sucks because of this. And but you could kind of see their family dynamic, and then obviously how maybe it was with their family when they were like growing up and younger. So it's just kind of this like Game of Thrones-esque thing about these people, all this family, kind of seeing who's going to be the future, I guess, holder of this company. I don't really watch shows like this. I'm not really into like watching shows about rich people. But gotta say, it's pretty entertaining. And I don't know. I think I'm on the edge of my seat. I want to know what happens next. And there's so far there's 2 seasons on HBO. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm trying
Wonderful.
to think of who, like, a actor who's in it, that you guys might know.
It's Brian Cox.
Brian Cox. Yeah, for sure. And he plays the father.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he's definitely really good in it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm giving it a go. And my roommate, like, so far I'm on the last episode of the first season, and I've watched all, up to there, and it's been thoroughly entertaining. Very kind of tragic, and I think maybe that's, I wouldn't care so much for these people if they were in real life, but I don't know. Like, they do something in the show that shows maybe their family dynamic very well, and you can really just like body language and specific things that really kind of trigger and kind of help you fill in the blanks of maybe this is how their family was when they were growing up, and this is how maybe their father has always treated them maybe all through their lives. And I think it's just an interesting like character study in that way. So yeah, Succession.
Nice. Right on. Succession doesn't shuck. All right. Very good.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to give another shout out to my dog, Martin.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Scorsese.
He just perked up there.
Yeah. He's so frustrated. He's and yeah, and also a shout out to anyone participating in NaNoWriMo. That's National Novel Writing Month. I'm trying my hand at it. I'm 120 pages into, I guess, a book. I don't know what I'm writing right now, but I'm doing it all on the typewriter, and it feels really good. I haven't felt this good about writing in a very long time. So hashtag NaNoWriMo. There we go.
Very cool.
All right, that.
It's quite good.
Quite good, that. Danny, where can we find more of your wonderful work on the internet, my friend?
I suppose you can find me on Vimeo. I don't have a easy link, but you can find me on Facebook, Daniel Rodriguez. On Facebook, I'm not on Twitter these days, but you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. DirtMcGirt13 on Instagram.
Hell yeah.
Daniel Rodriguez on the FB. On the FB, yeah.
On the
book.
The book face. Jonathan, where can we find more of your work on the internet this week?
You guys can find me on Instagram, Sean Day Music, and my website, on the interwebs.
You can check me out on Twitter at Joey Prodi and on my website, joeyproddyscripts.com. You can check out the show at Top 5 Pod. That's TOPFIVE 5 POD on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube at gmail.com, and on Facebook at Top 5 Podcast. We're on Apple Music, Google Play, and SoundCloud. So please give us a like, give us a listen, give us a follow, give us your love, and we will give you
all the love. Got you.
Getting all the love in the world. Until next time, I'm Joey Parati.
I'm Sean Day.
I'm Daniel Rodriguez.
I've been told it's very painful to sit through.